Okay. I know, I get it. Why Anchor FM, right? Well, let me tell you exactly why you should do your podcasting efforts and episodes from Anchor FM. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast, man. Honestly, Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and they do it for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Now, man, you can't tell me that's not dope. The creation tools are allowing you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They're going to distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. That means it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many, many more. All right. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. All right. Which is a very, very big incentive. All right. So, mandatory call to action, y'all. Simply put, man, just download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to go get started. Alrighty, let's see. I'm in the dark, it's a movie score saves. I'm in the dark, it's a light bit. Let me hit it dark. Yo. Everybody here?
I think so.
Yeah, you got the West Coast on? What you doing?
Yeah, man, I got the YG going, you know.
Okay.
West Coast Paul.
Oh shit, let me pull everything up so I can get this card up. Everybody good? Everybody ready to go? This one shouldn't be as long because it's only 6 matches, so you know.
Plus, we get to focus on the actual show. You know, we were mixing in some WWE stuff. We apologize to all you AEW hardcores out there.
Yeah, but we are thankful that they did check out the episode because they did go and listen to it.
This is true.
So that was pretty cool. And I was telling y'all, you know what I mean, that most of the card predictions were accurate. So, that was also a plus. So this go round, we're going to see if we can recreate, catch lightning in the bottle again.
Wasn't that Static Shock superpower?
Yep.
Wow, throwback. Y'all got to chill with the throwbacks, bro.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So let me go ahead and get the intro out of the way. Welcome to the Chronicles of Old Man Logan. I am Old Man Logan, back with the cast, Hot Take Kenny, and Joe Willie. What is going on, fellas?
What's up, man? What's up, brother? Good to see you.
All righty.
Not much.
Back on Anchor FM, doing our thing, trying to make some moves and see who's listening out there. So thank you to everybody who listened to our last prediction for AEW's Double or Nothing, which we also got some news. There's a big AEW heavyweight championship match taking place right here in our neck of the woods in August. Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho.
Jericho. That's going to be awesome, bro. I'm telling you, with the last one, I went to the last one. That one was crazy. I think me and KG went, I'd say Kenny and I were there. We got to partake in the AEW.
I saw most of the show. Mr. Freeline was charging his phone a lot. I hope you enjoyed what you got to see, though.
It was actually pretty amazing. Okay. So I don't want anybody to get it twisted. It was actually really awesome. So no one gets it. All
right. But that is AEW. We are going to get it back to what we normally talk about, WWE. And tonight is WWE's NXT TAKEOVER 25, and it's happening at the Webster Bank Arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And it's going to be broadcasted, of course, on the WWE Network.
What a place for a 25th anniversary show. Bridgeport, Connecticut. See that first of all. But,
I need more insight of why it's Connecticut of all places. Like, not to sound like an asshole.
Because he's Vince McMahon, damn it.
Right. Yeah. Vince made the OG call and was like, I want it close to home. So, yeah. Hey, pal, I need to see all of the stars tonight by the house, pal.
Stupid. That's dumb. I don't agree with it.
But, Kenny made a good call. He said, they could have just had it down there at the, the Full Sail Arena, but,
just to give it that old school feel of where they started, bring it back full circle.
Yeah. But Vince, I guess, he's trying to see what he wants rewritten tonight. So he needs to have that front row seat, and see, okay, who name he wants to change on next Wednesday's episode. So
Basically, because this guy did beat God, apparently. So he makes the final call.
makes the final call, man, Kicks out at 3. At 2 every time. All right. But that's enough Vince bashing. This is Paul Levesque's baby. You know what I mean? So should be a good event. And let's go ahead and get into some of these matches, shall we? I'll save the best for last, which will be the WWE NXT title match between Gargano and Adam Cole. But we are going to start with the singles match that's been added at the last minute, last final edition. Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong.
Oh, that's good. Yo, if you have never seen Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong just like go at it, it's not gonna be a bunch of wrestling, bro. It's gonna be a bunch of hard hit suplexes, all types of mania, bro. It's gonna be nuts. I am excited about that match, bro. I literally might be late doing what I'm doing to watch that match. I don't give a damn. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm gonna be late watching that. It's gonna do I think that it's gonna be Roderick? No, Roddy is a good bad guy. He's a good heel. It's not gonna be Roddy, but it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. And I think Matt Riddle will win it. It'll be not by tap out. It'll probably be like some type of weird exhaustion type thing, and probably by pinfall by 3. 1, 2, 3. Matt Riddle.
All right, KG, who you going with?
Well, you got the Messiah of the Backbreakers there with Roderick Strong. The guy that left a welt on Daniel Bryan's chest last year at the Greatest Royal Rumble, by the way. From all those chops. You got the former MMA competitor, Matt Riddle. They said he was unhappy, apparently, in MMA. Like, there was nothing he could do, but apparently he's been super ecstatic since he's transitioned to wrestling. Him and Velveteen put on a great show that last time. He just kept hitting him with ridiculous suplexes. That one German he hit off the middle rope from the outside, bringing him into the ring. That was insane. If they really want to push NXT or the Undisputed Era this year in NXT, I'm a little surprised they didn't go with Velveteen versus Roderick Strong for the North American Championship. We'll get into that one a little bit later. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Roderick Strong just because I feel like they need to kind of get Undisputed Era back on track, so to speak, because they lost at War Games, which was their first loss as a unit, actually. They lost the tag titles to whatever they're calling the team now. Thanks, Vince. Sorry for bashing Vince again. The War Raiders at the time, so they lost to them. So they need to get back on the roll, so I'm going with Roderick Strong.
Okay. And I think I'm with KG on this, and I think I'm going to go with Roderick Strong. I think this is going to be Undisputed Era's time to shine, and this is going to be the match to get it going. So, I'm going to go with Roderick Strong as well. All right, so speaking of the NXT tag team titles that are vacant currently, we have a fatal four-way ladder match, that's taking place tonight. And that is going to be including the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons versus Ani Lorcan and Danny Burke versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
And I'll be honest with you, in my heart, I want the Street Profits to win. I do.
Wakanda.
I want Wakanda forever. But I know better. I know so much better, bro. Listen, this is gonna be the time when Undisputed Era starts planting those seeds. All right. And I love Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. I love them. They're hard hitting, very very technical, very They can pull off a great match, but they have small amounts of charisma. That's okay. That can be worked on. Mm-hmm. Forgotten Sons is actually hot right now. They're hot, but I really don't you don't want them as tag champions, bro. You're not clamoring to see them. Undisputed Era, big ticket. Period. They're a draw every time, bro. They're amazing. They're due. They're kind of due for this kind of push again, especially when Bobby Fish went down with a torn ACL and they had to put Roddy in. Like, he didn't really get a chance to, like, really reign like that. So I'm excited to see this match. I wouldn't be surprised if Forgotten Sons does win, but I'm going with the Undisputed Era on this one.
All right, KG.
Well, that was my Wakanda Forever joke just a minute ago. If Street Profits do win, they'll be the first ever African American tag team champions in NXT history. I know Jason Jordan touched the titles, but obviously he's the first one to touch it. But there's never been a team that touched the tag titles on NXT in their. It's been about 6 years since NXT has been in its inception. Me and Joe went to NXT Takeover last year in Chicago. That match between Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, that variation of the Undisputed Era against Danny Burch. Yeah, so that was a pretty hard-hitting match. It was surprisingly one of the best matches on the card, honestly, just because I didn't know how much time they were going to give them when we went to that show. I'm going to go with Undisputed Era just because they planted that seeds of all of them touching the tag or all titles down in NXT this year, not just the tag titles. That's the team I'm going with. But I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Forgotten Sons just because one of them, he's still going. Is it Blake, right? He's still there. I remember he touched the titles with Buddy Murphy when they were Buddy and Murphy or whatever. Or Blake and Murphy, sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Undisputed Era, though.
All right, so yeah, man, I think it's Undisputed Era across the board. I would like to see Wakanda Forever rise, but I don't know if it's just time just yet for the Street Profits. Maybe in another couple of months, maybe around SummerSlam. It's no way to gauge how they're doing these call-ups anymore because they're doing it so frequently and they're doing it year-round now. It's not necessarily you got to wait until, next WrestleMania season or, for the night after to see what's going to take place. So, Undisputed Era can pop up at any given moment, any given time. Not to get off track for a second, but I have to say this wouldn't be me if I didn't say it. I think Triple H is trying to keep them down there as long as possible because he doesn't want Vince's greedy hands to get on him and screw him up. But, outside of that, though, I think Undisputed Era gets the W in this latter match for the NXT Tag Team titles.
Yeah, they'll be called the Undisputed Guys if they get called up.
Right.
Damn it, Vince. Suck.
How about this? How about we call them No Disputed? Yeah, let's do that.
How about we call them Never Dispute Us? Yeah.
Don't you dare dispute us. Yeah.
Damn it, Vince, you suck. Oh my God. I hate you. Oh, Vince, you're just not good at your job anymore, buddy. You gotta let it give it the trips.
Suffering succotash, right?
Hashtag fuck Vince, bro. Sorry, bro. Hashtag fuck Vince, bro. I'm sorry.
All right, man. So moving on from the NXT title match,
we're very as we have of ever working for WWE. Well,
pretty much, but it's all good, man, because it's a nice little place out there called AEW. We could work for them,
right?
Or a Ring of Honor, or Impact.
Yeah.
What's he doing? What's he doing at the Impact Zone?
What's he doing there? All right. So moving on from the NXT Tag Team titles, we are going to get into the NXT North American title match, which is between the charismatic one. I wanted to say enigmatic. I screwed that up completely. But Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze.
I'm excited about this. You kind of got two similar gimmicks. When Tyler Breeze was down there, he basically was Velveteen before Velveteen, except for Velveteen is probably super over in comparison to Tyler Breeze. I feel like Tyler was more over with the ladies down there. I feel like Velveteen's over with everyone right now, though. This dude, everyone felt like he should have won Tough Enough when they first had that competition. He got put in the bottom three for whatever reason. I don't remember why. Miz ripped them apart, the judges, for doing that. So it's good to see that they gave him a championship down. Well, not gave him, he earned a championship down there. All of his takeover matches, they got extended time, have been pretty damn good. The one against Aleister Black, which was his first one. The one against Ricochet, which we saw, once again, the name drop at TakeOver Chicago. The one with EC3 was solid as well. I'm going to go with Velveteen just because I feel like they want that North American Championship to mean something. You can't keep changing hands with that title. Because the longest run, I believe, was Ricochet with about 5 months, but I think he dropped it in his first TakeOver title defense, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
He was on War Games, so he didn't defend it that one, and then he dropped it to Gargano. Then Gargano dropped it on an episode of NXT.
Right.
And prior to that, Adam Cole dropped it in his first title defense, at least at a TakeOver. I don't know if that was his first one overall. He dropped it to Ricochet before. But yeah, I'm going to go with Velveteen. I mean, they're not doing anything with Tyler Breeze in the main roster, so it's nice to see him get this exposure again. Guy that was in the main event at times down there when he was in his first NXT run.
Right.
I think the safe bet is going for Velveteen. I'm pretty confident this is like the only lock in line tonight.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, so this is my thing. This is my thing. I can't foresee them putting it on Tyler Breeze and being like, all right, kid, we're going to run with you. Like, that just not, this is not conceivable. And Velveteen is probably the most over, if not over, like Johnny Gargano is. Like, they're neck and neck for those who are over. Like, and it might even be more Velveteen. And just like with old man Logan said, I think Trips is like, yo, like I'm not gonna lose Velveteen. I'm not doing that. You can forget that. Like, I don't care what you do. You're not gonna change anything. No. Like, I don't think he wants to lose him either, because like he's making money off of it. And Velveteen's a great character, bro, and he's phenomenal, bro. I would say his worst TakeOver match was probably with EC3, but even then, like, look where EC3 is now. So at this point, like, I would say Velveteen is going to definitely win it. It would be terrible to see him lose to Tyler Breeze. It would be the dumbest thing ever, but, dumber shit has happened, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, they could be trying to attempt here to get a Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon-esque feud between those two guys for said title. In that regard, maybe we'll see Tyler Breeze walk off with this title tonight. I'm with you guys in wanting Velveteen to win, but I think the best use, especially if they got Tyler back down in NXT officially, you could either do a feud with him and Velveteen where they'll, either exchange the title back and forth a couple of times. They'll have some good solid matches. Depending on how this match goes tonight, if they're able to recreate any of that magic that happened in said feud between Razor and HBK, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler gets the title tonight. So just to step outside of what everybody has said here, I'm gonna say Tyler Breeze comes back triumphantly, gets said title, the NXT North American title, and it starts out a nice, good feud between himself and Velveteen. That's gonna be entertaining for all. It's gonna propel Velveteen even further, and it's gonna be a hard job on Paul's behalf to continue to keep Velveteen away from Vince McMahon.
It says, "Call me up, Vince."
Yeah, exactly. So Vince definitely has his eyes and ears on all parts of WWE right now, as much as it doesn't seem like it, but that's why these random call-ups are going on right now. So I really wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Breeze wins tonight, and we see Velveteen get the L tonight. So last call for me
is Velveteen getting called up as R-Truth's nephew. Thanks. Yeah, that probably would actually happen.
Yeah, or Velveteen would be the guy to take the 24/7 title off of Truth.
Right. That's me. Yeah. See, Vince. God.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
Yep. So yeah, man. Final call from me. I'm gonna go with Tyler Breeze just to be different. Let's move on to the WWE NXT Women's Title match, which is between Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. Did I say her name correct?
Io Shirai.
Io Shirai.
You're doing so good last week with your Japanese anime homework.
I was ready. Man,
it's all good. You know what? I'll kick it off. I'm gonna go with Io because Shayna Baszler. It's about time. I was looking at Wikipedia. I didn't realize she's 38. I did not realize that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she's the only 2-time NXT Women's Champion, so she has that going for her, obviously. Super aggressive. I think she's earned the respect of NXT fans because initially a lot of people were just like, you're Ronda's friend, go away. And like you got that vibe when we went to TakeOver Chicago when she faced Cross and she retained versus her. She's about 10 months away from breaking Asuka's record of 522 days. I don't think she's going to be down there another 10 months, personally. Then you got Io Shirai, best moonsault in the business, in my opinion, at least. Think of beauty watching her do that. So I think I'm going to go with Io just because, like I said, Shayna may be time for a call-up because it gives somebody potentially for Bayley to feud with on SmackDown because SmackDown's women's roster. Well, you know what? Actually, they have that. It's Raw that could kind of use a little bit more. I can see her going to either show, potentially her feuding with Becky. I'm gonna go with Io though, just because I think it's almost time for Shayna to get called up.
I did not know she was 38, so she's like the Batista of NXT right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that being said, it might be time for her to relinquish the title. And if Io is the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, in terms of who's down there right now to put the title on, why not? You know what I'm saying? So and then I have been wondering, okay, she's been down there. She's, like you said, she's a 2-time women's champ down there. That doesn't happen often, so I was wondering again if this is Trips trying to keep certain people away from, Vince, but
I definitely think.
But as we've seen, though, Vince has been bringing people up that have current titles, and now, just like with what were they called? Yeah, they formerly called the Viking Experience or whatever the hell he renamed them to. He brings them up with the titles now, so the title doesn't necessarily, keep them in a safe place anyway. So, when Vince wants them, Vince wants them. So
right.
It makes sense though for her to come up now. You don't, it's up in the air with Ronda what she's gonna do, or when she's gonna come back. So,
right.
Like Kenny said, you need some place. You need some people in place. Some women in place during her absence, and make that depth in the Raw women's roster. You need to start filling that up some. So,
well, she has a vision to herself that's different from a lot of the women on either roster. So that would be nice to see them call her up for that aspect too, because you need some more compelling people that you can be taken as a threat. Like it's kind of the same crop of people competing for championships in the women's division.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I'd like to see her called up.
And then with the Raw women's roster, there isn't a bunch of threats right now to Becky. You know what I'm saying? Lacey Evans is not a threat to Becky. I don't know why they said, we're going to start with her, but whatever. We're here now.
They like her look, apparently. She's a former Marine. Kudos to that. Respect there. She's a mother, so they look at that too. They can market that. I mean, she has a great look. Don't get me wrong. It's just you can tell there. It's like she never even had a takeover match. At least that was on the network. Maybe she was on a pre-show, but you can't. That's a lot of pressure to me because even Ronda. Okay, they put the title on her 4 months later, but Ronda's a whole different animal.
Right.
So you could just tell the stride she made, the work that she put in. Honestly, to the point where she was easily probably one of the best women's wrestlers on there. I mean, she got a borderline great match out of Nia Jax. How many people can really say that? So I think I'll move on to Joe, though. We're going to give him some time to give his thoughts.
Yeah.
I want her to retain. And it sounds bad because I love Io Shirai, but I want her to retain because there aren't a lot of great female heels in NXT, and she's got to be one of the best ones, bro.
Yeah,
she has to be. She's on that borderline, anti-hero but major asshole. Please keep her, bro. She's awesome. And I know Trips is yo, bro, Vince, I know what you're gonna do with her. No, You're not going to put her with Lacey Evans so she can win the title and beat Becky. Stupid. Hell no. It's dumb. No, I don't do that.
He'll definitely probably try to use her as an enforcer or something. Because for all that's said and done about the women's evolution, and let's face it, they're still trying to push eye candy at times.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I agree.
It just so happens that Charlotte has both. She could be looked at as eye candy, but she's also phenomenal in the ring. But you can tell that they're still trying to push sex appeal at times, like, you know, putting the title on Carmella. I'm not saying that like she has no talent, don't get me wrong, and Alexa Bliss, like, she's a good talker, but she's a bit overrated as a talker. You know, she doesn't really have any in-ring chemistry with most of the talent she's been in there with, and she's been in there with almost everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So my thing is, you have the potential for other feuds, though. Like, I could see the possibility, you know, why keeping Shayna down there makes sense. But, you know, is Bianca Belair better suited as a heel or a face? You know, you going around calling yourself EST, it's over. But at the same time, maybe with her build and her look, maybe, you know, you give her a heel run. Have her, you know.
Yeah.
Bianca's going to run into the same problem that Charlotte runs into when she's facing certain women that are supposed to be heels. Like how you just used Carmella for example. You know, I can't believe a beatdown from Carmella on Charlotte Flair. I just can't believe that. Neither can I believe a beatdown from Alexa Bliss on a Charlotte Flair or Lacey Evans. These women are damn near twice her size. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Lacey legit looks like she's legit tall, but it's just she has no. Not to correct you more than lines, but like she's just green. She actually looks like she might be almost like Charlotte type. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
It's just like she's just inexperienced. But yeah.
But Shayna Baszler looks like she can kick your ass. That's why Vince would want her so bad, because Shayna Baszler looks like she can kick some dude's ass. Like she's an underrated talker. She's underrated on promos. She's good with promos. She's actually good in the ring. She sells very well or whatever. She's very underrated, which is why Trips keeps the title on her. She's a good ass heel. She's really good, but I don't want Vince getting a hold of her and making her a fucking enforcer. It's a terrible idea.
I mean, because what Vince is gonna do, Vince is gonna make her China all over again. He's gonna make her he's gonna make her Bobby Roode's enforcer. That's what he's gonna do.
That's so stupid. See, that's. Fuck you, Vince. Jesus. Like, that's like, no.
I'm telling you, the writing is on the wall, bro. Just whatever roster she ends up on, she's going to be China 2.0.
Ah, my God.
Or here's an idea. I don't know how much it would deplete their roster. If Shayna gets called up, you call Jessamine and what's the other one's name? Sorry, Roderick Strong. I know if you're listening. This is bad.
Oh my God, what's her name? Anybody? Nobody?
I don't know her name offhand, but I know you're talking about. That doesn't really help the listeners, but
sorry.
You know,
there we go.
There you go.
Sorry about that, Marina. I was wondering if you call the three of them up though, and maybe put them in a stable. Problem with stables is you get in that mold of the Riot Squad. If you're gonna call a stable up, you got to push one of them, like legit. You can't have them floundering around, getting beat by one person.
That's why Riot Squad should have never moved from SmackDown, though.
No, even when they were on SmackDown, though, they basically John Cena'd them in a sense with Charlotte. She ran like a hot knife through butter.
That's true.
So you could call the three of them up. You know, like I said, it might deplete the roster. And I heard Jessamine Duke is just as good as Ronda. That's the reports I'm hearing. So I don't know if it's true. I haven't seen much of her. I don't know if you're featuring her in NXT. I need to get into NXT weekly, but
they've wrestled before and they look decent like a tag team. I think now that at this point, if you move the three of them up and you keep doing what they were doing in NXT, that's fine until you build up to like a four horsewoman thing. Cool. But what I don't want is for you to put her in this China role where she's not like China, where like there's no like don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, yo, China can't kick my ass, because China could probably whoop my ass. R.I.P. My thing is that with her, let her be that badass that the fucking women's division needs if you're gonna move her up. If you're not gonna do that for her, let her stay there and build.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You character developed, like that's why the Attitude Era was so much better back then, because you actually built the character. Like you actually took time to build the character. take those L's a little bit, bro, because AEW's fucking coming. They're coming. So you better have some shit ready, bro. Period.
Yeah. I think you go with a slow build with her if you bring her to the main roster. You know what I mean? Bring her to Raw. Definitely bring her to Raw. That way you can have her have a confrontation that will be building. You get the slow build to Shayna versus Becky, and you have Shayna just run through some jobbers. You know, whatever town they're in, she run through those for a little while. Then she slowly migrates to the current women roster. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, she works up the ranks until she gets to, you know what I'm saying, the man, and boom, you know, this is a chance for her. And then storyline wise, that works too, because hey, you can maybe have Ronda pop up, cost Becky the match, and there you have it. You know what I'm saying? And that can continue that feud too, you know, and it could lead to the 4 horsewomen thing if we can remove that question mark on if Sasha Banks is going to stick around or not.
Right.
She's still had a meeting with Vince on Thursday.
Speaking of, did anybody see Sasha's IG pic? No one.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
we're trying to, you know, keep it wrestling related. We'll put that in the group chat. You know, we can't have them thinking we're pigs. You know, it's bad enough we didn't have any depth.
I'm just saying.
Women's research last week, and as good as depth as you're doing, you're going to set us back 100 years, sir.
Hey, she's flourishing as a young lady, and she's an amazing talent on the squad. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one that saw her growth. That's it. Okay, we don't need to be escalating it to any other level.
He's saying is Mercedes is shining like a diamond. That's the real name. Breaking kayfabe here, folks.
Hey,
and that's why Mercedes, aka Sasha Banks, was my WCW pick week before last. Okay, yeah. So let's put a button on it, man. Did we all say who we all wanted to win this women's title match? EO, Joe Willie, who you going with? You still here, Joe? I see he's still in there. I don't know if his call dropped. That sucks if it did. But I believe he went with Shayna. So you know what I mean? Yeah, he went with Shayna. So last top call for me, I'm gonna go with EO as well, just because I think we're getting ready to see Shayna go and be a part of the main roster. So alrighty. I don't know what the hell happened with him, but okay, we have one last match to talk about here, and it is the WWE NXT title match between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole.
Yeah, their last match was ridiculous at the last TakeOver year. It's the first WWE match that Dave Meltzer gave more than 5 stars to. It got 5.5 stars. It was a slow start, but it made sense too because they had to wrestle for 40 minutes, that 2 out of 3 falls match. This match is basically featuring 2 guys. Honestly, though, at the same time, although Johnny Gargano is the first ever Triple Crown NXT champion, he actually has had the most losses in TakeOver history. So, on the other end of the spectrum, Adam Cole's never won a one-on-one match on NXT TakeOver. He lost to Aleister Black in that street fight, lost to Ricochet. He won the ladder match, but that was a multi-man match, even though he was a singles competitor in it. And then he lost to Gargano. So, like I said, once again, if they're going to push the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole said their goal is all of them to win titles this year. I've been calling for it for a while. And I feel like Candice LeRae is going to turn on Johnny Gargano for some reason. I thought they were going to go that route before Ciampa got injured. Because, you know, they want the babyface to keep chasing that title and keep chasing it.
Right.
I'm conflicted with this one. I want to say Adam Cole just because like they planted those seeds of all them winning championships, but at the same time, do you really want to take the title off Gargano 2 months after he got it, after finally getting it? You know, after that chase that lasted over a year, started in January 2018, finally culminated 2 months ago. If Gargano retains, I'm thinking maybe somebody pops up that we weren't expecting. Somebody that's disgruntled on the main roster. Maybe you see a Luke Harper pop up and attack Johnny Gargano after the match. That's a possibility. My gut's telling me Adam Cole's leaving with the championship, so I'm going to go with that. Not 100% on it.
All right. So you brought up a lot of great points here, and we did see Gargano have some main roster shine a couple months ago before Ciampa got injured, and I really think that was going to be it for them in NXT. I think much like how it was for Aleister Black, Ricochet, those guys were going to be a part of the main roster too, but they would have probably definitely been SmackDown. I think if that was still part of the plan, they just prolonged it a little bit since they had to take the title off of Ciampa because he was injured. Go ahead, put it on Gargano, and we'll postpone any plans we had of them being on the main roster. This is kind of, I feel like special, although it's not just all about Undisputed Era. I think this was an opportunity to highlight them, much like, that Shield special, because you're going to need somebody with that type of appeal and likability, because we're not going to see a Shield anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Jon Moxley's never coming back to WWE if he can help it. You know what I mean? I can't speak forever. He's still a very young guy. He's only 33. Maybe toward the end of the road, he might come back around. Who knows? But as long as he has an opportunity, where he doesn't need to, I don't think he's coming back. I'm pretty sure we saw the last of Dean Ambrose in WWE.
Yeah.
But that being said, we're going to need a team, because it's inevitable for New Day to break too. It's time for some new stable to emerge. You might as well go ahead, put this title on Adam Cole, and you know what I mean. You let them just wreck shop, run the whole NXT show for right now, and
the evolution version of NXT.
Yeah. And that way you could go ahead, you could propel Gargano, you could put him on SmackDown's roster. Who could actually use him right now? SmackDown's looking real good, with the talent that they got. They're booking Kofi good. I don't know how I feel too much about Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler at the Showdown Showcase. What is the shit called? In June? It's not a knock at Dolph. It's just you haven't booked Dolph whatsoever. Now he just pops up out of the blue in the WWE title match.
Well, they said they went that route because KO wasn't going to Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And I think that's because him and Sammy are best friends off camera, and Sammy can't perform there because he's Syrian.
Right.
So
that leads me to ask then: is Daniel Bryan not going either?
He's not going, and neither is Aleister Black.
Okay, so there you have it then. Because I was going to say you could have easily just did a rematch between those two, Kofi and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
but
that was another route. They could have gone, but I forgot they were marketing that Orton versus Triple H match. There got to be someone else they could have went with on SmackDown though. There's got to be another man out there they could have gone with who's been featured on television. And with this whole wild card rule thing, you don't even have to go with a SmackDown guy.
Exactly. I mean, hell, does Roman have a match?
Yeah, he's facing Shane.
Oh yeah, he's facing Shane there. I was gonna say if he wasn't in place, or you got Elias, you could have had Elias.
You could have did Elias, yeah. At least he's been, even if he hasn't won a championship, he's been relevant enough in the storylines where you could have put him in that position.
Yeah. It was just the pick, the choice of Dolph for this particular match kind of threw me off. But I do feel like, just to bring it back to the NXT TakeOver event, I do feel like Gargano is getting ready to get called up. So even though it's been a short 2-month run with the title, like you said, he's a Triple Crown champion. You know what I'm saying? There's not much else left for him to do down there.
Right.
And SmackDown could use him. I hope he would end up on SmackDown. I don't really think he needs to go to Raw. Raw doesn't, just to have him running around with EC3 and Gallows and Anderson and Bobby Roode trying to go and get R-Truth.
It's bad. It's bad, bro.
So I do think, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pick Adam Cole to win this thing tonight, man. And we're just going to see, Undisputed Era have, flawless victory throughout this entire, event. Who do you think your boy Joe would have picked? Because Joe just mysteriously disappeared. He's out and about doing his thing. So
I'm gonna speak for him and say Adam Cole is because he loves the guy so much.
There you go. There you go. I mean, you guys are at the bar.
Yeah, he just
Okay.
Adam Cole. So I mean, maybe he's doing something at the same time.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there you have it, man. We got our prediction done. WWE's NXT TakeOver 25. It's getting ready to start in a couple of hours. So now I have to do the back end work.
I could be wrong. They're going with 6 o'clock start.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I got to hurry up and get this up now then. So, KG, let the people know where they can find you on social media, man, what your name is on Instagram.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at HotTakeKenny. Once again, once I get this whole thing straight with Twitter, I'll be back on there too. Probably same or Twitter handle as well.
Okay. Joe Willie is Joe Freelon the third. So that's JoeFreeLonii. You can find him on Instagram under that. And you can find me on Instagram at OldManLogan83. That's all together, OldManLogan 83. And this is the Chronicles of Old Man Logan, and this is our NXT TakeOver 25 match prediction show. So we'll catch y'all again on the flip side.
Peace.
Peace.